Hello everybody, my name is Benjamin Bloom and I have just witnessed Bolton 0, Brentford 1. Of course I haven't just witnessed Bolton 0, Brentford 1 because it didn't happen. Because this is the latest ridiculous part of the EFL dealing with Bolton Wanderers. So this game was cancelled this past weekend. The Bolton players haven't been paid. They've gone on strike. The Brentford fans all go up there and the game gets cancelled on the Friday before. And today we hear the news that the EFL have decided to award Brentford a 1-0 win in this game. Okay, fair enough. Brentford are better than Bolton. Brentford probably would have won anyway. But this whole thing is just getting completely ridiculous now. Bolton went to the High Court a while back and the case was adjourned until this coming Monday, I believe. I'm pretty sure it was the first Monday after the season ends. So the EFL have just completely got their knickers in a knot now because Bolton didn't play this game, and if the fixtures played out on Sunday, they still would have had a game left. And then I assume the hearing would have then been deferred even more. The whole thing is absolutely crazy. The PFA have stepped in to pay Bolton's players for this past week so they can play the game this weekend against Nottingham Forest. And then the EFL have kind of just snuck this, and it really smacks of them just washing their hands of it and sending it off over to HMRC, who are going to do what HMRC do. Obviously, in the background to all of this is this incredible cast of characters at the top. Obviously, the much oft criticised Ken Anderson, who owns Bolton, who many would say has seen Bolton just go down and down and down into ruin since his ownership. They've been keen to sell for ages and ages. Now in the background is Lawrence Bassini, who the club said last night this is not happening, and he's coming out and saying it is happening, and journalists are saying it's not happening. And I'm laughing and I'm getting exasperated and I'm having a pop at the EFL, and all of those things I probably have a right to do. But let's just be honest about this. Bolton could go into liquidation if a new owner is not sorted out. HMRC, and this is not HMRC's fault, HMRC will liquidate them if they owe tons of money to creditors, particularly if it's owed as tax. They don't wait around for that, and all the assets will be liquidated and they'll take out as much money as possible. And this is very worrying to me, because we're in a situation now where there are elite clubs in English football. Either the teams that play in the Premier League or the teams in receipt of parachute payments have a whole ton of money, and all the rest of the world are chasing those teams and they're chasing those payments, and a lot of them are doing very silly things to try and do it. Don't get me wrong, there's clubs like Bolton who did get relegated from the Championship but pretty much broke even, who accept that, okay, if we get there, we get there, but we're not going to risk our club to do it. You may or may not argue whether Bolton fall into that camp, but they're in the bonkers cataclysm that is the Championship, which is full of teams trying and pushing to make that money. And I've said on the channel for ages, it's going to be sooner rather than later that someone gets in absolutely serious trouble or, God forbid, goes under. Now, I grew up watching football in the 90s, and I remember Andy Walker and John McGinley for Bruce Rioch's Bolton. Every year they would go and upset someone in the cup, and then they got into the Premier League probably mid-90s, and then my team Ipswich had titanic battles with Colin Todd and Sam Allardyce's Bolton, where playoffs are coming up. You talk about two of the greatest ever playoff semi-finals you've ever seen happened between Ipswich and Bolton. Then Bolton get up into the Premier League, and everyone knows what Big Sam did to upset the Premier League for I don't know, 5, 6, 7, 8 years. And all these great players who'd seem to have been winding down their careers came and played for Bolton, and it was brilliant. And the point I'm making is Bolton are a great club. You can go back even further than that, and Nat Lofthouse and cup finals way back into the 20s and 30s. Bolton is a great club, and if it goes under and it goes into liquidation, I think the Premier League and the EFL, by turning a blind eye to this and doing things like, oh, okay, 1-0 Brentford, let's just get the season done and HMRC can sort that out. I think they have a bit more of a duty of care to make sure that this massive chasm can't be the reason why clubs go under and possibly go into liquidation. And look, I hope it doesn't happen. I hope it doesn't happen. But it strikes me, until something like this does happen, nobody is going to learn. And yes, I do understand how capitalism works. I do know that far more people watch the Premier League than watch the Championship. But the truth is, these two leagues are linked. There's a promotion and relegation between these two leagues, and that is the issue, is the massive, gargantuan, huge, ginormous, ridiculous disparity between these elite clubs and their £100 million TV money per year, 45 million for failing and getting relegated, as opposed to 7 million in the Championship and then 1 million in League One. It almost feels like, and I know Bury fans might not thank me for saying this, Oldham fans, almost feels like the Championship teams are most at risk because of their proximity to the Premier League, and some of the League One teams down there might be like, oh God, we'll keep away from that clown show and just try and run our clubs properly. Anyway, I have not just witnessed Bolton versus Brentford, and I think all the Bolton fans and all the Brentford fans and all of football fans, genuinely good-hearted football fans, wish that I and the Bolton and Brentford fans had witnessed this game, because that would mean that this whole absolute shit show is not happening. My wishes and my hopes and my fingers are crossed for Bolton that someone comes along very quickly with a brain and some money to sort all of this out, and that the EFL and the Premier League take a really good look at this and see what they could do more to stop rubbish like this happening. Let me know what you think in the comments. It's obviously a bit of an emotive issue, so let's keep it sensible and let's kind of keep it fairly good-spirited, but interested to see what people think and how on earth this is going to play out if no one comes into Bolton before the next High Court hearing. Not good times. Thank you for watching. Goodbye.